guys, Marmalade here. Thanks for checking in again for my Q&A number 7. And I have a couple quick announcements to make. I'm going to change the format, the way this video looks. Before I put text, and I actually did a voiceover of the question. I'm going to try to make it more simple, fast, and easy, so I want to let you know that. I want to make it more user-friendly. I'm also, I've asked a few of my closer friends that I trust, and I am in complete agreement that my Q&As have been too long, too winded and wordy, and just too over-explained. So I'm going to do my best from now on for you guys so it's more interesting, and yet we still learn together to make them concise, clear, and quick. So that is my goal. So let me know what you think as we go forward, and let me know if you have any suggestions too. And as always, let's get going with the questions. I have 6 good ones. So yeah, I have to wear reading glasses to read these questions, but the first one is from Share Hikes. And they ask, how do you manage video production to avoid copyright issues with music? So yeah, that was a concern I had before. When I first started making videos, I would just buy music off iTunes and use it, and but I didn't have enough views or anything or followership to have a worry about it. But so what I do is I use a non-copywritten music site called Epidemic Sound. Many YouTubers that I know, and that's kind of how I found out about it, uses Epidemic Sound. Great music. One of the things I did was, months before my hike started, when I was preparing, like doing my resupply and preparing for my hike before my hike started, I started saving music, and I personally saved it in my Dropbox on my phone. But I saved all kinds of music, action, quiet, different kinds of moods, and I just saved it on my phone. So I had songs picked out, and I had close to 100 of them picked out. And then when I was on the trail, I could pick from one of them and use them on my video. So that's what I use. Question number 2 is from Mike Tommy, and he asked, how much money did I plan on spending doing the trail, and do I think I was on budget? So that's a hard one because a lot of people do, Excel spreadsheets and figure out every penny. I didn't do that. What I did was, I knew that from talking to people and watching a ton of videos on the budgets that you can spend $1 zillion or hardly anything. Some people go through the whole trail and have almost no money, and they just live out of the hiker boxes. So it depends on your style. My style was, I wanted to share a hotel once in a while when I needed to, take free zeros a lot. That was my thing, to save money. Or do a Neuro where you go into town and resupply, and then get back out of town even if it's a mile, and then keep going, and then sleep in your tent. You save a lot of money that way. But no, I budgeted for about $1,000 a month. I was under my budget, and I was proud of that. I only did the desert and then 200 miles of Washington going south, so I don't know how it would have planned out the whole way, but I was under budget. And it also helps if you are sending yourself some resupply boxes, you spent the money ahead of time, so that when you're in town, you don't need to buy that resupply. It's coming in a box, so that helps too. So that's what I planned for. Question number 3 was from Sean Wilkinson, and he asked, what will I use for shoes when I continue my thru hike in 2020? I haven't tried every shoe out there, but I do like trail runners. I've been loving the Ultra Lone Peak 3.5s forever. They started about a year ago making the 4.0, and so it's been harder and harder and harder to find the 3.5s. I've said this, I did a video on my new 4.0s that I bought about a year ago also. They actually conform to my foot better than the 3.5s, but they've cut down on the padding, so it's not as comfortable. So what happens is, when you do a 20 to 25 mile day, 6, 8, 10 miles into my day, my feet are starting to hurt because they're not as cushiony. The 3.5s had a lot more cushion, and my feet just, oh my God, they felt great. And even after a 20 mile day, my feet felt great. So I think what I'm going to do now, and I think I have one more pair of 3.5s that I had purchased before my hike for this year. So, but I think I'm going to go to the Ultra Timps, T-I-M-P. Let's try to show you a picture of both of those shoes right now. And so I have not tried them on, but I have friends that use them, and they have more cushion than my Ultra Lone Peak 3.5s. So I'm really anxious to try those out. I think that's going to be the shoe for me, and assuming they fit like all the other Ultras. So questions number 4 and 5 are from Terry Savini. Question 4, she asked me, did you ever feel like you were in danger, i.e. Other people, water crossings, animals, weather, fire, terrain, things like that? So no, I didn't, and I'll take that back. The one time I did was actually before I got hurt. I said it in my video, and I wasn't just saying it. I've hiked now. I've been only backpacking 4 years, but I've cut my teeth on the PCT. I've seen a ton of trail. Right before I got hurt in Washington, I'd never seen a section of trail that was just unmaintained and this dangerous. It's very hard to explain. And then the next thing I know, 50 yards down the trail avalanches on me, and I break my ankle. So I wasn't necessarily scared. I was just like, holy smokes, like, I've got to walk down that. To answer your question, I would think it's different for a man too. I think, you hitchhike a lot. I think it'd be a little bit sketchier maybe for women, but it's one of those things where you just have to listen to your instincts. I saw 2 bears in Washington, and they ran from me, so I didn't feel threatened by that. Saw rattlesnakes in the desert, which I'm used to, and I'm not threatened by that. So no, I mean, there's nothing I was really scared of. I would just say that just I'm a bigger guy, plus I have a heavy pack, and being on those sketchy chunks of the trail was a little bit, I had to do some log crossings. Walking through water, through rivers doesn't bother me. I'm not the greatest with heights, so being on a cliff or on the ledge or something is not fun. But there was a couple log crossings that wasn't worried as much as just a little bit sketchy. So question number 5, like I said, is also from Terry, and she said, did you use a pack cover or a poncho that covered your pack, and or a garbage bag to line your pack with? Were you able to keep everything dry on rainy days? So that's a great question. I learned a lot, by the way, because I live in Southern California in the desert. Not that it never rains, but I'm not in that situation much, and when I want to go out on a weekend and hike, I can choose a weekend that doesn't rain because we have so much good weather. There's no reason to go out there in the rain. So I learned a lot. I have a ULA Circuit backpack. I have a pack cover, and I also lined my pack with I bought it in Warner Springs from the Two Foot Adventures store they have. It's in an Airstream camper. I bought a Sil nylon bag liner because I had a trash compactor bag, but it was all torn up and I had it forever, so I got that Sil nylon. I also used that when I was in town. I could put all my dirty laundry in it, just carry it over to the laundromat and do that, so I used it for that. So I found that I had lots of individual stuff sacks for like my quilt that was Cuban fiber, and my tent, things like that. So I had everything in individual bags inside my pack that's partially waterproof, and inside the Sil nylon bag liner. But I found that when you have a pack cover and it's pouring rain and you have a rain jacket, the water goes between your rain jacket and the back of your pack that is not covered by the rain cover. It soaks through there. So my pack got wet a lot, like soaked, but overall everything was pretty dry inside. I mean, you just have to have redundancy in it, a lot of layers. Dixie said that a lot, redundancy. It could be your life when it comes to hypothermia and things like that. I'm going to change because I told you guys all my gear reviews are going to be smaller things, lighter things, or less things. I'm going with a bag liner that's called Nyla Flume, and you can get it at lightsmith.com, and it's basically fancy, really thin plastic. It's clear like a plastic bag. It's strong, it's crinkly, so it's kind of loud, but you put that in your bag, it weighs nothing. Put all your stuff in it, and it pretty much keeps it waterproof. I think you can get I bought a 1-pack, but you can get like a 2-pack, and maybe halfway through your hike replace it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm also thinking about, I bought a cheap one at CVS, but I'm thinking about spending the money on a pretty expensive Z-Pax poncho. I hiked with somebody that had the poncho, and it was genius. It was pouring rain, and I'm getting soaked, my bag's getting soaked, everything's going between my back and my pack and getting my pack soaked. And she had the Z-Pax poncho, and it's just overhead, and it's just all one seamless thing over everything, and everything except for her feet were dry, and nothing got drenched. So it probably doesn't breathe much, but I'm seriously thinking about when I start my through hike doing the poncho. So I just got to find one that maybe is light enough and does the job. Oh, and also that would also get id of my pack cover. So trade weight for weight. Get rid of the pack cover that weighs something and get the poncho. Okay, my last question is from Washington Mike, and he asked me, did you find any dietary strategies to help you maintain energy during an extended hiking day? Which was basically every single day on the PCT except for zeros and zeros. Okay, so I'm really bad at this about knowing enough about protein and carbs and fats and all that stuff. I ate a lot of what I wanted, but I did try to eat protein as much as possible during the day to kind of energize myself. I would try some Mio drink flavoring drops, you know, the squirting Mio, and some of that had caffeine in it, so I tried to do that. For a while, I had some caffeine kind of pills, but I try not to do that. I just try to do it with food and protein type foods with lots of protein like bars and things. If you watched me in Washington, the other thing I found I could do is I wasn't drinking my Via coffee in the morning. So actually what I did is I would save it to midday when I started to already have 10, 12 miles in and start to get a little tired. I have a chest pouch with my one water bottle. I would put the two Vias in there black, and it was so much water and diluted. I don't like my coffee black, but it was so diluted that I could drink it and just sip on it. And I would use that in the middle of the day to get more energy, also to get up if I had a big climb. I would use that. So really just proteins and maybe things with fats, but also you know, some caffeine and things like that. So, you know, like I said, I wish I knew more about it, was more educated, but I'm not. But that's what I did. Okay, guys, I hope that was smoother and faster and more enjoyable and more to the point. That's going to be my new style. I want any feedback you got on whether you like this or not, any input, and also the questions have been coming in slower lately, so please give me lots of questions. I mean, seriously, just ask questions. Anything you want to know. It doesn't have to be about through hiking. It could be about gear, backpacking, clothing, things like that. And I think this is going to be posted a half a day early this week, because I am going on a road trip with my buddy Robert, or AKA Robot in the Wild. We're going to go up to Northern California. He's got a work thing, but we're going to make it into a fun thing. And I think this week we're going to go to Yosemite Valley, and I've been all over the place, never been there. I lived in California my whole life, so I'm excited about it. Yosemite Valley and maybe Tuolumne Meadows. So stay tuned for a video on that. But please give me your questions, and I look forward to hearing them. And again, lastly, subscribe if you haven't. Click that little bell if you want to be notified when I have new videos out. I'm posting a lot of videos. I've got 2 or 3 in the chamber right now that I have to work on. And also, please, as I said, go to my Patreon, check it out. If you can even give $1 a month, that's great, and become a patron, and you'll get things ahead of time. And like I said, right now I have posted is my brand new Marmalade logo, which is my trail name from the PCT, and I love it. I think it turned out great. And until next time, see you down the trail.